My next guest has been pushing for this affidavit. In fact, it's full release. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton joins me now. What did we learn? First of all, Tom, are you happy with what we got? Was it approximately what you anticipated?
It's a little bit more than I think we were initially anticipating, given the Justice Department's desperate position that none of it be released. But clearly they wanted to release enough information to make Trump look bad. But in the end, and I'm glad for the transparency as far as it went, it shows that it was a weak tea basis to raid President Trump's home. There was a significant dispute about the nature of the documents, whether they were classified or declassified. The idea that the archives could come in and police the president's holding of records after the presidency is not supported by law. So in many ways, it shows that they didn't really have much. And they manufactured an argument that they didn't want to manufacture with anyone else, whether it be President Obama or Hillary Clinton or anyone, or Bill Clinton, as we found, to justify this raid on the home. And it's a shame. I don't understand why the court approved it. The issues before him were, in my view, too significant to warrant a raid absent an adjudication of the president's claims that he had prerogatives as president to keep these records.
From a layman's point of view, I'm just speaking for myself, as I heard them read off, with the parts that weren't redacted, it felt like a fishing expedition, like the all clear to go on a fishing expedition, which I think in this climate, listen, constitutionally, I don't think that's the right thing to do, but more importantly, in this climate where we keep hearing about the nation being fractured, it just seemed like a real dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, the raid is unprecedented, and I've noted that you probably have people in foreign capitals looking at the United States of America and seeing, well, the one president raided the home of the other president. What is happening in America? Is it failing? And this is Banana Republic type of stuff. And the raid and the documents confirm that. So you've got this weak tea analysis about the nature of these documents that are in dispute. And then on top of that, then they get a warrant that allows them to take documents way beyond the classified documents that were at issue. And what was the FBI doing, for instance, when they went and visited President Trump's home in June? Did they tell him he was under criminal investigation? Did they read... did they tell the lawyers that this is a criminal investigation and, we're here to gather more information on you? I doubt it. This is sketchy.
Tom, CNN reporting that you have been providing legal advice to President Trump, also that you actually were against the release of these of the documents in the first place, maybe playing a role in heightening this situation. What is your reply to that?
Well, I'm not going to confirm or discuss or deny any conversations I have with anyone, certainly anyone like President Trump. But I've been public, Charles, on this issue from the moment I learned that the archives went and harassed Trump about these records, because we had sued the archives, taking the Justice Department's position that Bill Clinton had records he shouldn't have had. He had tapes. And they came back to us and told us that it's presumptive that if he has records after he leaves office, they're his, they're personal. And the court said the archives has no business adjudicating this one way or another. And there's no way to get behind the president's decision to keep records as personal versus presidential. And that's what I've been public about. And, despite what CNN says, the fact is President Trump turned over these records. He said, okay, well, if you think these are presidential records, you can have them. You think they're classified, you can have them. You want us to put a lock on the door, we'll put a lock on the door. So he didn't follow my public position that these records are all his. In my view, still, he should go back and say, these are all my personal records. I want them back.
Right. No, maybe he will. Hey, I've got a few seconds, and I want to squeeze in this Mark Zuckerberg thing with Joe Rogan because it's a bombshell, it looks like, admitting that Facebook did suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. Just so for folks who don't know, I'm going to share a snippet of it with his conversation with Joe Rogan.
The FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false, the distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it.
Did they specifically say you need to be on guard about that story?
No.
Tom, a quick reaction from you, please.
Well, he later said that when the laptop information came out, he put 2 and 2 together, and they suppressed that information. This is the same FBI that raided Trump's home, and just before the election, they're taking clear steps to suppress information that would hurt Joe Biden in his electoral chances. And we also know separately from the whistleblowers that internally they are obstructing the investigation. There needs to be a criminal investigation of what the FBI was up to just before the election, with not only the censorship push, but its suppression of evidence for political purposes.
Yeah, those drums are beating louder and louder, so it might actually end up happening. Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it.